Hi, I'm Laura and welcome to class today. Today's class is going to be a mat Pilates workout with a ball. So if you don't have a ball at home, feel free to use a pillow or a towel. Okay? And as always, before we get started, make sure that you're looking after your body throughout. So we're going to get started. Pop your ball or your prop to the side and we're going to bring ourselves around to an all fours or quadruped position. So bringing your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees directly underneath your hips. And feel free, if you have any wrist issues, to bring the hands further forwards to lessen the extension through your wrist joint. And then we want to check the body. So gently draw the shoulder blades down away from the ears. Feel the crown of the head reach forwards, the tailbone reach oppositionally back. And then visualize the three bones at the front of the pelvis, the two pelvic bones and your pubic bone. And you want to check that those three bones are level with the floor. And the back of the skull gently lifts up to the ceiling to ensure that the back of the head is in line with the rib cage. Now begin with your thoracic breathing. So breathing in, expanding the ribs to the sides and to the back. And exhaling to narrow through the rib cage. And we're going to use our out breath to connect with our deep abdominal muscles. So as you breathe out, gently feel the pelvic floor lift and the navel draw in towards the spine. The challenge is when we continue to breathe that we keep the control of those muscles. So gently lifting the pelvic floor up between the four bones at the bottom of your pelvis, your tailbone, your two sit bones and your pubic bone. Narrowing those four bones together. And to engage your transverse abdominis, it's that navel to spine or that narrowing of the waist. Now on your next out breath, use this out breath to tip your pelvis backwards. Curling your tailbone under, lifting the pubic bone up towards the belly button. And then use your in breath to lengthen the tailbone back, reach the pubic bone through the legs and away from the belly button, back to our neutral position. So you keep going with this, exhaling to tip back, keeping the rib cage, the neck and the head, the shoulders really still. And then inhaling to lengthen the two ends of the spine away from each other. We're just going to do one more of this. So we're isolating the movement to the pelvis and the lower back, the lumbar spine. And it's just going to be as small as we can keep that movement there. Now you can stay with this, or if you can and you've got the control, we're going to start to tip the pelvis backwards. And this time coming into a cat stretch. So we're rounding now the mid back up to the ceiling, the back ribs. The neck is going to start to come forward with the chin tucks and look towards the belly. Starting from your pelvis again, on your in-breath, tailbone reaches away, we start to lengthen through the thoracic spine, the rib cage, the neck, and the head come up last. Let's do this two more times. So using your out-breath to round the spine, feeling how the abdominals draw in to reach the back ribs up to the ceiling. Shoulders stay away from the ears. And we inhale to reach back to our neutral and optimum position of the spine and the pelvis. Last time. So this time as we move, see if we can find more opening at the back of the body. Opening between each vertebrae. Really feeling the abdominals do the work. And then reach the spine back to neutral. Take a quick child's pose. So just sit the hips back. Roll through the wrists, just give them a little bit of mobility. And then come all the way up, slide the hands in and we'll take the bottom off to the side. We're going to come to sitting. So your feet want to be to the bottom of your mat. You're going to be sitting right up on your two sitting bones and you're going to place the ball at the back of your pelvis. So at the moment, bring the hands to the back of your thighs and use your hands and your arms to encourage the chest to lift up. Take an in-breath, lift the shoulders up, and then exhale, draw the shoulders all the way back down. So that movement that we've just done in all fours, our quadruped, we're going to have a go at that now. So on your next out breath, start to tip the pelvis backwards. You notice how the lower back draws into the ball, but we're not sitting into the ball, we're actively rounding the lower back. Now come to that place where you're not completely hanging out on the ball. We're still using the abdominal muscles to round the pelvis back, the lower back, and then inhale to restack the spine. Let's do that 2 more times. So exhaling to tip back. Feel that your abdominals are trying to draw into the ball, and that's encouraging the lower back to round. Inhale to lift up tall. So you're feeling lots of activation around that lower belly area. Last one here. And then come all the way up. And we're just going to move the ball a little bit further away so we can roll down a little bit more now. So tipping the pelvis backwards, rounding back. This time we're going to come to straight arms. And then we're going to roll back up. So a little bit more mobility through the spine now, a little bit more force through the abdominal muscles because we've got to control where the spine is going to. Now this time when we go back, I'd like us to stay back, but I want you to make sure that you're not sinking into the ball. We can be here, we can allow our bodies to be inactive and just hang out. I want you to feel that you're trying to stay here on your own, okay? The ball is just helping us a little bit. Now on your next in-breath, I'd like you to lift your arms. Exhale, deepen the shoulder blades down, really feel that C shape in your spine now. On your next in-breath, open the arms out. Press the back of the hands away and then exhale, pull the arms back in. Now each time you breathe, we're trying not to let the movement of your pelvis and where your pelvis is and your lower spine is and that rounded shape of your spine now change position. So there's lots of heat down in the belly area now, in the abdominal area. Every exhale we think of drawing the pelvic floor up. And we've got one more. And then hands to the back of the thighs. Take a moment to roll up, lengthen the spine, and it might be nice to do the opposite now. So start to lift the chest bone up to the ceiling, drop the shoulder blades down. Feel some extension through that thoracic spine. And then release back to neutral. On your next out breath, we're going to roll back again. Find that point where the abdominals have the most tension, so just off your sitting bones. Take an in-breath, release the arms. Exhale, this time the arms lift up. Inhale to lower. Now the further the arms move, the more challenging it is to stabilise your spine. So checking in, are you hanging out on the ball? Can you feel that you're trying to lift off the ball and lighten your weight? And last 2, shoulder blades stay down the back. Try and keep the feet as light on the floor as you can. Last time. Now this time we're going to stay here. One arm goes out, one arm goes up. And return. And switch. So we're now trying not to rotate to the side that we're opening. Trying to make sure that my pelvis, chest, shoulders, head and neck stays completely still. And we've just got one more each side. You should start to feel that work in the abdominals now, definitely. And then roll all the way back up to sitting. So take the ball this time and place the ball between your knees, and we're going to use that roll in action to bring ourselves all the way down. So gently control yourselves onto your back. And then as we get there, bring the feet a little closer to your bottom. So the heels are a comfortable distance from your sitting bones. And now our feet are going to be the distance that our knees are because of the ball between our knees. I'm sunbathing today. We've got the sunshine coming in, which is nice. So we're going to set up our alignment. So bring your hands to the front of your pelvis, and we want to check that the 3 bones, your 2 pelvic bones and your pubic bone are level. So make any adjustments that you need to so that you're there. And we should feel the back of the pelvis, the sacrum, heavy. We now want to be able to draw the chin in to lengthen the neck, bring the back of the rib cage down, and feel how the lower back may be lifted or definitely the lightest part of our spine. Find your thoracic breathing and rest your arms to the sides of your mat. On your next out breath, begin to tip your pelvis backwards. And we're going to roll up into our bridge. So lifting the tailbone, the sacrum, the lower back, the middle back, the rib cage, maybe coming up into the shoulders, but to a height that feels comfortable for you. Making sure that we've got that sensation of pubic bone being higher than belly button. and rib cage relaxing down. So we're trying not to push the ribs up. The push up comes from your hip extensors. As we breathe out, we're going to roll back down. So softening between the shoulder blades, the back ribs, the waist, the lower back, the sacrum, and then let the tailbone relax. You almost feel the sit bone area completely relax as we come back to neutral. So breathe in, prepare. Exhale, we roll up. Gently start to squeeze the ball. So not too hard that we're starting to get that shaking of the legs, but just that we can feel that engagement of our inner thighs. And then we roll back down. Inhale at the top, exhale to roll down. So we're noticing, are there parts of our spine that feels tighter? Are there parts of our spine that want to come up or down in a segment rather than bone by bone? Can you use your abdominal muscles drawing in and the hip extensors to tip the pelvis back as well as the abdominals to find more mobility? So it's not just about rolling, we've got to find that control. So the same sensation that we just done with our roll back. Now staying up at the top this time, I'd like you to take a deep breath in and you're going to exhale, squeeze the ball, and you're going to hold for 3, 2, 1. Release, but don't let the ball fall. And hold again, squeeze 3, 2, 1, and release. We're going to do this 2 more times. So every exhale, as we initiate that squeeze, tighten the sit bones. Can you lift the pelvis a little bit higher? And release. 1 more time. And 3, 2, 1, release. Now we're going to stay here. We're going to lift the arms up and overhead. Float the arms back down. Let's go again. We're going to do 3 more. Float up, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, really challenging where your rib cage is. So can you slide your front ribs down towards your pelvic bones to make sure that the front ribs don't push up to the ceiling? And last time. Okay, now as we roll down, lift the arms up, interlace the hands, and we're going to take the hands behind your skull. Let your hands just hover a second off the mat and just find that place where you feel your head is really heavy in your hands. Your elbows are forwards and your hands are acting like a hammock for your head. So no tension in your neck. Your arms are doing the work to support your head. Inhale here, exhale, slide the front ribs down towards your pelvic bones. Curl your thoracic spine, your rib cage forwards. Inhale to lengthen the spine back down. Let's go again. So exhale to lift and curl. Inhale to roll back down. So if you notice my head and my neck, it's not changing position. So the space between my chin and my chest remains the same as I curl up and as I lower. So if we're truly keeping the head heavy in the hands, it's the abdominals doing the work to lift the spine up, not the neck, okay? So it's not bad to work the neck, but here we don't want to bypass the abdominal muscles and make the neck do all the work. So we've got last 2, exhale, lift. We should feel that our pelvis is able to stay neutral. So on this last one, I want you to lift and pause and just take a look at your pelvis. Are your 2 pelvic bones level? Is your tailbone down or have you curled it under? And is your lower back to the mat? Can you adjust that? Now we're going to stay here. And on your next out breath, I'd like you to squeeze the ball and lift your legs up. Inhale, tap the feet back down. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Now my challenge is not to let the ball roll between the knees. I've got to make sure that both legs are working equally. Now can you curl your head, neck and shoulders up further by dropping your bottom ribs down? That's going to make the abs work harder but the neck less. Last 2. Last one. We're going to keep the legs up if we can. We do 6 rotations. So we drop the right shoulder down, turn the left shoulder to the side wall, back to center. Inhale, exhale, twist. Inhale to center. And again, exhale, twist. Inhale to center. Drop the shoulders down. Is your tailbone still on the mat? Gentle squeeze of the ball, last time each side. Can you rotate a little bit more? Now as we're here, come back to center, release the hands, take hold of the ball and place the feet down, head, neck and shoulders down. Excellent. Now we're going to push the pelvis up into a bridge and you're going to take the ball underneath the back of the pelvis now. So we want the ball on the sacrum or whatever you've got right on that flat bone at the bottom, at the back of your pelvis, and then lower the hips down. So more towards the lower back portion of the pelvis rather than the tailbone. Now, depending how high or full your ball is, we might look at our pelvis now and our pubic bone may be slightly higher than our pelvic bones. That's okay, just find your optimum position. Rest your arms to the side of your mat, take an in-breath, exhale, lift the right leg. Exhale the next time, float the second leg up. Now I just want you to take a moment here, organise your body. If you feel that you need to adjust the ball or what's underneath your pelvis, please do. But I want you to check that the pelvis isn't dropping the tailbone into the ball or really curling the pelvis towards you. We want to try and keep the pelvis on top of the ball, like it's right on the apex, okay? Now from here, on your next out breath, reach the right leg out. Inhale, bring the knee back in. Same, opposite side, same exercise, reaching out and then back in. Now how still, keep alternating, can you keep the ball? How still can you keep your body? Now keeping that feeling of back of the shoulders and ribs heavy, front ribs sliding down towards your pelvic bones. Although we're not doing an abdominal curl, you're still going to feel the work in that upper abdominal area. Now we're going to do one more each side. And then as the legs come back in, I'd like you to start to extend one leg up and then down. And again, up and down, alternating sides. Can you keep your thigh bones really still? Try not to let them move away from you. And you're only going to extend the leg as far as you can. We're just going to do one more each side. Keeping the tailbone down, keep the weight on the right and the left side of your pelvis even. Now this time extend the legs up. Now I want your legs to be straight, so your legs may need to lower a bit further down to allow them to be straight. Take them there. It's going to make your abdominals work harder, but that's what it's all about. So next time on your out breath, you're going to start to lower your right leg any amount, trying to keep your pelvis level. Lift it back up and lower. And inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Keep changing sides. Now the weight of your leg when it lowers is going to force your pelvis to tip forwards and arch your lower spine. So think of trying to lift your pubic bone a little further up towards your belly button. Now the next time we lower the left leg, we're going to stay here, and if you can, we're going to scissor. So we stretch the legs further away from each other and switch. Inhale, stretch, exhale, switch. Inhale and exhale. How still is your pelvis? I'm really working on that. This is challenging for me. I noticed does one leg want to go further? Is it easier on one side than the other? Just checking into our bodies. And last two, last one. Join the legs up. We're going to stay here. Both legs as straight as possible. We're going to inhale and we're going to start to prepare. Deep in the back of the pelvis. Exhale, lower the legs down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower, deepen the back of the shoulders into the mat. How are the front ribs going? Can you keep them drawing down towards your pelvic bones, not lift the back ribs up? And we've got 2 more, guys, so last 2. Last 1. Now, can you stay here? And we're going to open and close the legs. Open and close. Open and close. Can you do 4 more? 4. Front ribs drop down. 3. It's challenging for the upper abdominals. 2. And last 1. Lift the legs up. Bend the knees. Give them a little hug into your chest. And then we're going to lower the arms, lower the feet. Take the hips up. Take the ball to the side and then roll back down. Okay, we're going to take the ball underneath your right leg. Almost feels a little bit strange for the body now I've come back down. So organise your body, grab anything underneath to pop underneath your head that you might need to. And then when you're ready, you're going to start to roll the ball away with the right leg. Roll the ball back in. And I want you to feel that when the ball rolls away, that you're drawing the thigh bone back up into your hip socket. And we know that when one leg moves, the weight of that leg is going to force the pelvis to shift. So before we move that leg, we've got to deepen the opposite side of the pelvis into the floor. Now, when you extend the leg out this next time, I'd like you to keep it there. And wherever it lands on the back of the leg, you're going to keep it there again. We're going to deepen the back of your left hip down. I want you to press the back of your right leg into the ball. Use that to float the left leg up. And if you can, extend the left leg to the ceiling. Hold the back of the thigh, take an in-breath. Can you push the right leg down further and draw the left leg in closer? I'm going to do that 2 more times. So inhale. Exhale, push. 1 more time. Inhale, exhale, push. Now let go. Try your hardest to keep the leg where it is. And we're going to start to circle. We're going to go across the body to the right with the left leg. Down, out, around and up. 3 more this direction. Now not only have we got to focus on the pelvis, we've got to focus on the right leg, staying completely still on that ball. So if the ball is moving, it's an indication that your pelvis is moving. Change directions when you're ready. So again, out to the side, inhale, exhale to complete your circle. And we want to check that your circles are just as big or as small as they need to be so that you can control it. You're still feeling the work happening, but we're not losing control. We want to keep that control. Now, as we finish this, bend the knee, lower the foot, slide the ball back in. And without using our hands, we're going to transition that ball to the other foot. Same on the other side, so take a deep breath in. Exhale, slide the ball out. Do you need your hands for feedback? I know that this side is trickier for me to sense where my pelvis is. So sometimes it's good to have a look, sometimes it's good to check in with our hands. And we're just going to do 2 more. On your exhale, slide out, stay out. Press the back of the leg down. On your exhale, inhale, lift the leg and stretch it up. Take the back of the thigh, breathe in. Exhale, can you push down into the ball and draw the leg closer? 2 more times. Inhale, stretch the legs. Longer, longer, longer. Exhale, pull. Keep dropping your tailbone into the floor. Last time. Now release the leg, keep the press down of the ball. Arms to the side, draw the shoulders down. Inhale, take the right leg across to the left. Exhale, down, out, around and up. Inhale across. Exhale, circle. Now on this side, I tend to get clicking in my hip and we don't want that. So what we need to check in is if you've got that click in the hip, can you draw the navel in, lift the pelvic floor up more, Engage the sit bone area, so glutes, and maybe spiral the thigh bone out in the hip socket, see if that gets rid of it. And then we're going to go the opposite way around, so we open the leg out, down, around and up. How's the ball? For a moment I forgot about it because I was thinking about my hip, but I think it was staying still, which is good. So obviously the engagement deeper of those muscles is really helping. Last time, bend the knee, place the foot down, slide the ball in. Now we're going to grab it, lift it, take hold of it, lower your feet down, stretch the legs all the way out. Take an in-breath, reach the arms overhead. Actively feel front ribs slide to pelvic bones. Okay, so we're not arching the back, we're active through our center. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, head, neck and shoulders lift. Now this is where you can go, stay here, and then we roll back. If we can go a little bit higher, inhale, lift, exhale, curl up. Maybe we can come to sit-in, and if you come into sit-in, reach the ball forwards past the feet. Inhale, breathe into the back ribs, and exhale, slowly roll back down, bone by bone. When you're ready, reach the arms over. We're going to do this 2 more times. So you may be halfway, you may be a third of the way, you may be nearly up or all the way up. You're going to go to where you are with your own body right now, okay? So not forcing it to happen, not jerking, not pushing with our arms, because that's only cheating our own bodies, and it's not bringing more mobility to the spine, it's not bringing more strength to the abdominal muscles. So this is our last one, and when we come up, I'd like us to stay up. Okay, restack the spine, come all the way up. We're going to come into a side lying position, both knees bent, and we're going to come down onto our forearm, so elbow underneath the shoulder, and just prop your ball underneath your waist, because this is going to help us and remind us to keep our waist lifted. So it's not there to assist us in our body weight, it's helping us to remind us of our alignment. So elbow underneath the shoulder, and I want you to lift and lighten your waist and your rib cage off the ball. Take the top hand either to the pelvis or behind the head. If it's behind the head, gently press the head back into the hand and just make sure that your elbow is slightly forwards to be kinder to your shoulder joint. Reach the top leg all the way out, find your hip extension, flex the foot, we're going to go for a leg kick, so we kick, point, reach back. Flex on the way forwards, point on the way back. Now we're trying to make sure, as well as lightening the waist off the ball, that we're also trying to not let our body go in front of the ball or behind the ball. Okay, last 4. Can you get the leg any further forwards or behind? 3, 2, excellent. Now last one, we're going to stay behind with our legs, so reach, 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 reach. Top arm lifts up and circles forward. So I'm in a little rotation of my upper body. I'm still pushing the ground away with my forearm, still trying to lift my waist off the ball. Lower the back foot down and lift. And 6, 5, keep reaching. 4, 3, 2, last one, stay and pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Bend the knee, ball, reach it up to the ceiling. Coming into a side plank. So on your next out breath, push down, lift the pelvis up. Inhale to lower. Option 2, extend the top leg. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Option 3, extend the underneath leg. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Option 4, we lift and rotate. Ball underneath the waist. And reach and lower. 2 more times. Lift rotate, and reach, and lower. Last one, reach. Can you round the back ribs up to the ceiling? Reach, and then lower. Good, bend the knees in, pop the ball down to the side and reach over and finding that stretch on your side body. We'll go straight onto the other side for this, so swivel the legs around, elbow starts underneath the shoulder, ball underneath the waist, and then stack your knees and feet, heels in line with sitting bones and elbow in line with your hip. Once you're there, lift the waist out of the ball. Once you're there, set your hand on your hip or hand behind your head, whatever you prefer. Take an in-breath, exhale, and stretch the top leg out. Start to flex the foot. We come forwards, we breathe in, point back. Inhale, exhale. Now on this side, I find it challenging to keep my upper body still. So I'm making sure that I'm connecting with my abdominals and I'm using my underneath leg, pushing into the floor to help me. The whole body's working together. And 4, 3, excellent, 2, last one. Keep the leg reaching, circle the arm up and forwards. Okay, lower the back, toes down and up, down and up. Keep pushing the forearm down into the floor. Keep lifting your waist out of the ground and drawing your shoulders down. Really good. Navel to spine. Last 2. Last one, stay up. 8 pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, so from here, we take the ball and reach up. Take a breath in. Side plank, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, choose your option. Exhale, lift, push down, lift up, and lower. Stretch your underneath leg if you like. Now we're aiming for that straight line in our spine as we lift, and we're going to add the rotation if we can. So we lift up, spiral under, reach out, and lower. And again, push. Can you get the back ribs up to the ceiling? And we've got one more repetition here. Now, as we're lowering, dig deep. I want you to still feel that you're lengthening away and lifting your chest. Good. Bend the knees, push up, and take your side stretch. Brilliant. Okay, we're going to come round into prone, so laying on our bellies. And you're going to take the ball on the chest. So we're aiming for chest bone area. You might need to move some flesh on the chest out of the way. Okay, so find that position where your arms are at the sides of your mat. And at the moment I'm just kind of resting on the ball so I can align my legs. Go wider if you're tighter in the hips. If you want to challenge, go for hip width or closer together. And we should feel that the front of the pelvis is level with the mat, the pubic bone slightly heavier than the 2 pelvic bones. Shoulders are down and the belly lifts up to support the lower back and lengthen it. Now take an in-breath, and as you breathe out, I want you to let your chest bone sink into the ball. Let the chin tuck, and imagine your chest trying to round over the ball. Your forehead may come to the ground, it may not. On your next in-breath, start to hover your forehead and start to push your chest bone into the ball. And you're imagining, as we come up into this swan action, that you're trying to slide and roll the ball towards the front edge of your mat. As we lift the chest up, almost think of sliding your front bottom ribs forwards into the ball, but make sure we're not feeling that pinching sensation through the lower back. Use your exhale to soften and lengthen over the ball. So you're almost trying to reach the crown of the head to the top of the mat as the chest rib cage contours over the ball. Imagine between the shoulder blades on the upper back lifting up to the ceiling. So we use our in-breath to lift the chest, roll the ball forwards, Keep the width across your upper back, but draw down of your shoulders. It's the collarbones in the front of the chest that's trying to widen more, but don't try and pinch the shoulders because this is going to restrict our movement in our thoracic spine. And then lower. Now we're just going to do 3 more of these. This feels quite nice to be assisted with the ball. So drawing the shoulders down, go to where it's comfortable for your lower back. We don't want that pinching. You want that sensation of drawing down to engage the lats. And just hold a moment here in your extension. Can you lift a little higher? Use an in-breath to help you, an extra in-breath. And then lower. And this is our last one, so let's explore that again. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to reconnect with your abdominal muscles. And then inhale, have you got a little bit more space to lift the chest more? And then exhale, lower down. Now we're going to slide our hands back by our shoulders and push yourself up and off the ball. Take a child's pose for a moment. Enjoy that stretch from your hips all the way up to your fingers. And then come to an all fours position, so knees under hips, hands underneath shoulders. And take the ball underneath the right hand. And you want to make sure that the ball is in the centre, but with that space underneath your arm. Take the back of the hand of your right hand on top of the ball, and on your out breath we're going to roll the ball underneath the arm, let the elbow bend and find that stretch across the mid-back. Good, and then come back to centre. Let's do that again. So play around with your breath here. Both exhaling and inhaling helps to facilitate rotation in our spine. So check in which breath, your in-breath or your out-breath, helps to give you more movement. And we're just going to do one more. Check that your pelvis doesn't hitch back, so it's not going back. We're trying to stay forwards. And then once you come back in, let's change sides. So back of the hand on the ball, take an in-breath and then exhale, roll under. And does it feel tighter on one side compared to the other? Now let's do 2 more. Does an in-breath as you rotate, exhale to come back, feel more natural, or an exhale to rotate? And I think for me personally, exhale to rotate really helps. And we're going to come to sitting. So just take any position with the legs that feels comfortable. I'm going to go for a diamond, so feet together. And we're just going to take hands onto the shins and we're just going to take a deep breath in, lift the chest up. And then exhale round the spine. And let's go again. Inhale to lift. And then exhale to round. And just come back to a neutral spine. So that's our workout for today. Well done, and thank you for joining me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and click the bell icon for future notifications. I hope to see you next time. Bye.